Hey, hey, we're back. It's all about the figs. You get it? Fuck it, I'm going solo because I was supposed to come with a brethren, but she isn't here. So I'm on my own. I'd like to say to all you bitches, yeah, my hair don't grow. Don't get on to me about my hair. It's my hair. At least it's blood clot mine. All right, good. Anyway, I would like to tell you guys about my weekend because it leads into our topic of the podcast so nicely. At the weekend, my son had an AP. What's that? It's an apartment party. All laid on because he's quite a lucky kid. He's a good boy, so we do things for him. No particular reason, but he decided that he was going to have fancy dress because it was that stupid, evil Halloween weekend. So that's how it went. I went as Serena Williams. I furthermore to anything, I was invited. Big old hardback like me, invited to my child 18, who is 18, as you know, Cairo. Yeah, I was invited. He's like, "What, mum, you coming?" I was like, "What, do you want me to come?" He's like, "Of course." I was like, "Of course, I'll be there, bruv." Anyway, I went as Serena Williams. I had a tennis dress, old school tennis dress. It was so funny. And I had a tennis racket and a ball. I walked around with it literally all night until I lost it. So yeah, we're there at the party. You see these youths. You know what they're into. You're gonna laugh your head off. Half of you are gonna be like, "What?" Half of you are gonna know. So basically, all four children I've had, the first offer of any form of pain release they offer you is gas and air. Aren't the youths taking gas and air now and using it as a legal high? It's called a legal high. So they think they're in there because it's not illegal. However, mash up your brain business. Apparently, it paralyzes you, freezes your brain. All sorts of things are going on with it. So if you know your children are doing it, make sure they're doing it under supervision because I can't tell you not to stop them doing it because you can't even tell them to stop doing it. You know that, don't you? You can't stop people from doing stuff. You can guide, you can give advice, you can give them experiences as to why they shouldn't do it, but you physically cannot make anybody stop doing anything unless you are getting physical with them. And I don't suppose you're going to be getting physical with your kid when they're out because you ain't going to be there. So that's like an impossible thing. But yeah, legal highs, bruv, they're a serious thing. The little man, there was a little man there. I said to him, I have not seen you without a balloon in your mouth since I've been here. I've been here for at least 4 hours. And since you arrived, a balloon has not come. The only time it comes out of his mouth is to speak, and it doesn't really come out. He hangs it on the side. And they got these things called smart whips, yeah? They're massive canisters, and they're heavy. Or when you shake it and you think it's got something in it, it's empty. They know when it's empty. I'm like, how do you know this is empty? And shaking. It's heavy in her ass. And it hasn't. It's got liquid in it, but they can't get any more legal high out of it. Yeah, so that was basically the essence of the whole. I couldn't believe it. And then, oh, girls, oh my days, brethren, I am not joking. So there's sets of girls there, and they don't have their own smart whips. So they're literally lurching onto man for the. I had to tell a couple of girls, "Can you stop begging for balloons, please?" And then one girl, she came up to me. She go, "I finally got a balloon." She'd been begging all night, and finally she thought it was a good idea to come and tell me that she. Honestly, but it's happening. It's real. It's relative. I'm up to date, as you know, because I'm giving you news before it comes out. I bet you on the weekend now, there's a thing about child addiction. No, there might not be. But anyway, legal highs. So at this stage, I'm not sure it's something that my generation knew about because when they give me gas and air, when I'm having children, I vomit. So I'm not interested in it. It doesn't interest me whatsoever. And I'm really, really surprised that it is a thing, a massive thing. So, you know, before you go everywhere and see those little canisters everywhere in the curbs, you know, a group of youths might be hanging around on the street. That would have been in the night. And if you hear this noise, that's the balloon filling up. And this noise is that's when they're drawing it. Oh my days, you want to see them. It's amazing. It's not amazing because it's not funny, but it's what they do. And back in my day, it all started with a Benson and Hedges cigarette. I think back in this day now, it starts with a Mayfair or Lambert and Butler because nobody can afford Benson and Hedges anymore. These things, I'm blaming the system. But I hear the joke. It's a trap. Why are you falling into it? For what reason? Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, it's been set out there for you to abuse because they want money. It's all about money, always. And you're doing it. You're like literally falling for it. God knows how much money these smart whip people are making. I don't know who thought of this smart whip thing, because like I said, before there was these little canisters. Now a man has got his rucksack. See them used with their rucksack Friday evenings. See them in the shop buying balloons. You know what's going on. Their rucksack's got the big, heavy enough. They come in a box. In fact, you know what I was saying? I was saying you could sell a box of these. Who's going to know whether they're empty or not? And make your money and just dust. Do you know what I mean? Because they're so heavy. Anyway, yeah, they come in a box of 6. They're like £60 a canister or something like that. I think they're getting cheaper now because they're getting more popular, which is bad again. But yeah, legal highs. So the youths think they're all right because it's a legal high. But obviously it's not, because it's mashing up their brain same way. It's the same trap. It's a community thing as well. And it used to be a back in the day thing. I think it used to be a back in the day special thing, like festivals, etc., etc. And they're having these festivals more and more now because nobody can get any late licenses. So festivals are happening more and more, and the youths are out in the daytime. When they tell you they're going to blah, 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 they could be at a festival all day. How are you going to know? Anyway, the drugs are in the festival, that's for a start. The liquor's being legally sold. Liquor used to be illegal for good reason as well, because it's proper mind altering, properly mashes up your life. My take on addiction is very open-minded. It's a vast range of what I know about it. We're going to start now. So growing up, I grew up with my grandma, as you all know. My mum had me when she was really young, and that was the best person that could have looked after me. However, we've all got our cross to bear. As much as she seemed like a really responsible adult, married, some children, lived in a nice house in Chiswick, mortgage paid. You know, I wasn't brought up in social housing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because my children are now being brought up in social housing, but I wasn't. So basically, the image did not go with what was actually with the reality, basically. You know, that the image, you know, the perception that we speak about all the time, that magic, usually miles apart from the reality of what's going on. So my gran was a secret alcoholic. Secret? Yeah, secret. You never saw her with a drink in her hand. You never saw her drinking. You could only smell it, and you could only tell she was drunk. And fed up. She was fed up with her life. That was what made her drink, because when she drank, she went to sleep and she forgot about her life for the moments that she was asleep, because she was so fed up of it. The reason that she fed up of her life now is because, as far as she's concerned, my granddad, who wasn't really my granddad, he was just he was her husband. He wasn't my mum's dad. My mum has a different dad. But I called him my granddad because that's how I grew. Didn't know any different for ages, actually. These people try to hide things for you for so long. Why? Reveal the truth will set you free. Tell the pickney and the youths what's going on. Otherwise, it's just so confusing. Anyway, back to the story. So my granddad, as far as my gran was concerned, only married her for the sake of the children, which were my 2 uncles. And I remember telling you that I had another uncle. If I didn't, I had another uncle. His name was David. He died when he was 3. So my gran had 3 boys for this man, her husband, my granddad, and my mum for another guy. Anyway, so as far as my gran was concerned, my granddad only married her for the sake of the children, and he was always out. He was a social butterfly, and my grandma wasn't. She needed to have a drink to give her that confidence. She was more of an introvert, somebody that liked to stay at home. When she had a drink, it lifted her spirits. When she was socialising, and dampened them when she wasn't socialising. Very, very depressed. Smoked a lot of cigarettes, and used to send me to the shop. The law at the time, the laws have changed, you know. At the time when I was growing up, so you could go to the shop and buy anything. Like, literally, you could say, my mum said, looking up at the man on the counter, you know, with my little hands. My mum said that I've got to come and get, she's go to the shop and buy me quarter bells. Quarter bells. You know what quarter bells is? It's a quarter bottle of Bell's whiskey. That was her tipple. She used to hide it in her underwear drawer. Listen, you see when that woman drank, she switched. Now, like I said to you before, I'm not surprised they made alcohol. Alcohol used to be illegal because of the trouble that it causes. She used to switch, boy. She used to get aggressive. And after she's finished being aggressive, she'd go into sleep because that's what she wants to do. She wants to sleep to forget about her fed up life. One time, it was her birthday, and my mum came round. I think it was my grand's 50th birthday, and my mum came round to visit her, and she bought a whole heap of drinks, and obviously left because my mum don't live there, and left me with a mess. You know what? My grand, she smashed up the whole house, and apparently, I don't remember this, but my mum reminded me. She said, "You rang me up, Marsh, and you goes to me, look what you've done. You've given her all this drink, and now she smashed up the house. It's all your fault." And that's what I had to live with. That was weekends. So this is how it used to run. My granddad used to go to work during the week, all week, leave at a certain time, come back in the evenings. And my gran didn't need to work. She literally didn't. He'd pay all the bills, he'd pay the mortgage, etc., etc. But here what? She's got to go to work because she want to buy a cigarette and she want to buy liquor. And my granddad doesn't drink and he doesn't smoke, so obviously he ain't going to entertain that. So yeah, she used to go and do her little cleaning jobs, and every Friday, Jed, let me tell you, clockwork. You see, when the laws changed and I couldn't go and buy the bells anymore, she's got it in her bag. I used to do stuff like throw it away. I used to find it, throw it down the sink. Because who wants a drunk grandma? Bruv, it's not the one, bruv. The only time it worked to my advantage is when I wanted to go out and she's sleeping because I know I'm getting money. Can Mum can I have some money, please? Yeah, in me pass. Or Mum, can I go out? Yes, I'm getting yeses for that. That was the only advantage. Was that really an advantage? I used to take advantage of it at the time, but it's sad. So yeah, that's my take on addiction with regard to my upbringing and alcohol. We're moving on now. So obviously, as you know, I met my dad, and I lived with him and his brothers for 10 years. Oh my gosh. So we got in that house now. We've got sex addiction, we've got crack addiction, and we've got gambling. Those three things are mashing up their nation. They're mashing up our community badly. And you're all falling for it. I used to work in a bookie. I used to work in a bookie in South Acton Estate. Oh, you didn't have to see some sites. You get man that bet £1 and £2. You get man that bet 10 and 20 pence. You get man that bet 50 hundreds. Gambling's at the top of the list for addictions. Google it. Simply because you get nothing back. There's nothing to consume. You literally are doing what you want to do to your demise without any return. So obviously, you know, crack man's getting his stone. You know, the heroin addict's getting his brown, or his skag, or whatever you want to call it. They've got all kinds of different names for it these days. Bobby, this, that, rare, rare, rare. You know that a ganja man is bunning weed, whether he's chalice in it or whether he's billing it up in a Rizla. But with gambling, there's nothing to get. I don't even know if you get a ticket. I think even these days, gambling's so sophisticated, it's all done online. Harry, innit? Ask Harry. You know what I mean? Even Harry's trying to get out of gambling. Every time you ask Harry a question, Harry's got washing to do. Sandra's washing. Harry's got this to do. Harry's got to take the dog out for a walk. All kind of thing Harry's got to do. Even Harry's trying to get out of gambling. Never marry a gambler. You will never have anything. Any of you that are married to gamblers, go look in the pot. There ain't nothing there. Do you get me? Gamblers are dread, boy, and they're so sneaky. And you know what comes with gambling? Lies. Lies and gambling are associated together. Any gambler you meet, lie. My goodness gracious me. Because he needs to lie because he needs to keep his money in his pocket. And you know most gamblers as well, loads of them, they just go to work so that they've got money to gamble. So, like I say, it's become so much more sophisticated now because you have to stay out of the bookie. Shall I be honest? Shall I tell you a secret? You see, the children's father, gambling, boy. I don't gamble a lot, this and that, and real. Yes, you do. You've got nothing, bruv. Me and you're not together because what future would I have with a gambler? And you're not looking to stop. Hear how I know you're not looking to stop? Because you don't want to admit it. From the time you can't admit what you're dealing with, you ain't looking to stop. You're looking to do squeegee behind the back of who? Behind your own back, because no one else should care about yourself more than you. So who you hiding it from? Because you're doing it anyway. And nothing coming out of it. You ain't admitting it. You ain't going to stop. No progression. Later, you're done. See you later. Gone. Bye. Anyway, that's the secret. Exposure's good. He might stop now if he watches my thing. He might feel shame and think to himself, maybe I shouldn't do this. So that's gambling. Wow, how many different types of addictions are there? This is the question. You get people that are addicted to working, whatever their job is. If it's something that they're passionate about, you might find that it's spilling over into their social life and becoming something that doesn't have the balance anymore. So that takes the enjoyment out of stuff when it's like that. At first you were enjoying it, really good, blah, 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 rah, 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 and then it starts taking over you. Because people say it starts taking over your life, but your life is you. So yeah, it starts taking over you as a person, how you act, what it reflects on the outside world, etc., etc. Some people are addicted to sport. That can be really dangerous for your body. Being addicted to going to the gym. I'm going gym. And what about those girls that are addicted to wearing gym clothes but they never go gym? You see them on the road, boy, I bet they got their gym clothes on every day. Bruv, you're not even a member of a gym. Are you? Admit it. Okay, so we've got those kind of people that are addicted to that. People that are addicted to making out that there's something that they're not. Those could be your gym goers. People that are addicted to lying. Compulsive liars, they call you. That's usually people that are not brave enough to tell the truth. That's the way I see it. Because what are you lying for? Every minute of the day, lying. Who cares? Stop it. You're just making yourself look silly. What, you think people don't know that you're lying? You think people are not behind your back going, no, but she tells so many lies. No, but he tells so many lies. No, I asked him this, yeah, and I know it's not true because last week when I saw them, this and that and blah, they've worked it all out. You're not clever because you're lying. Here you lie to first. I think we discussed this last time. You lie to yourself first. So you're mugging yourself off and then in turn going to carry that on to try and mug other people off. Anyway, get people that are addicted to lying. Those things are not consumable, even though they are to your demise. Stop it. Have a balance. Tell some lies on some days and not some on others. Try and reduce the lying. Do you get me? Yeah, you get some people who are addicted to sport. There was a guy, he's famous, I don't know his name. Research is not, I need a producer for this kind of stuff. But he's a white guy, and he was addicted to sport, and now he's disabled. Like, he's mashed up. So, again, when it starts affecting you in a way that's negative, we need to address it, no? We need to draw it back. We need to have a look, self-reflection. Do you guys not reflect on a daily basis? Here, the best place to reflect, in the shower. I know some of you don't bathe, but find other ways to reflect. Yeah? In the shower is such a good way because it's just you one, and thoughts come to you in the shower whether you like it or not. Yeah, so we've got addiction. We're going to go into the main one. For me, it's one of the biggest ones, and because I've spoken to so many people and I know so many people, is the crack addiction. I know a lady who's addicted to crack and heroin, and she got off the heroin and told me straight the heroin is not her problem, which you would always think it was the problem because you depend on heroin in a way physically, yeah, because it goes into your bloodstream. And especially depending on how you take it, because you have all types of ways of taking it. You have the chasing of the dragon, you have the injecting, and you can smoke it. I don't know any other ways that you can take it. If there's any other ways, hit me up. Ha! Ha! Pardon the pun. I don't mean that, because that's not even supposed to be funny. That was just a natural thing. But yeah, she said that the heroin was not so bad to give up, but she's bang on the crack still, bruv. The pipe has got her up. Like, New Jack City, do you remember that? That came out. That was the introduction to what the world that we were about to live in. And that's how you know with these films, with these producers, when they make this stuff, they know what they're doing. And a lot of them are warnings and indications of future and things to come. So, yeah, they're fiction, but you can take the realness out of them. You can take the realness out of everything. Everything's got a psychology behind it. Every single thing you touch, feel, blah, 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 because somebody made it and somebody had to think about making it in order for it to be produced. So there's a psychology of how it should be used, when it should be used, who it should be used by. Cocaine used to be called the rich man's drug. Then you got speed, which is the poor man's cocaine. Mash up your belly. Yeah, make you move like a nutter, and then before you know it, you got big ulcers in your stomach, this, that, and the other, bare stomach problems. So yeah, there's a design and a psychology behind everything. But the crack, boy, nah, brethren, they mashed us down with the crack. That was the biggest trap. That was like a million man going out fishing and coming back with their massive nets, yeah, out to sea, and coming back with bare fish. That's how they swept us up with the crack. Don't get me wrong, yeah, I have probably tried everything. I ain't addicted to nothing because it's boring. And why am I going to do something that's going to mash me up? And then after I've finished enjoying myself, I can't recover. And I look mess. And my health is mashed down. And I've had to pay and go out of my way to put myself like that. No, 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 no. Because I love myself, remember, the most in the whole wide world. And so should you. Every single one of you should. Because if you do, then there's certain things you won't do. There's certain things you'll put down. There's certain things you won't bother with. There's certain things you won't pick up. Another good thing is no, the word no. The word no. 2 little letters, so powerful, especially if you mean it. If you don't mean it and your no's turn into yeses and it becomes to your demise, obviously we're talking about choices. Did you not watch Shameless when they put Paddy Maguire on heroin? Because Paddy Maguire mashed up a woman's daughter. She literally kidnapped him, held him bound like this, and injected him with heroin. That's the only way in my mind that you're getting away with being addicted and it's not your fault. And even still, we have to say it is his fault, because who told him to go and sell heroin to people's children? That was the consequence of that. Even though he wasn't a user, still in the game, still having effects. That reflection, you see, on the outside of it all. So when the drugs are being taken, whoever the consumer is, they're not bothered about the outside world and maybe their parents, their family, their husband, their children, whoever it is that might be looking out for them. Some of them don't have anybody looking out for them, the reason for their demise. Okay, whatever. But you should be looking out for yourself, because remember, it all starts from within. So yeah, the crack, bruv, New Jack City. That was a hard film. That film was hard. And we fell into the trap. Literally, out there, fishes, bait. Up there, on the hook, in the net, off we go. In the frying pan to be cooked. Why? So my dad, gangster, whatever, because that gangster got led, and that gangster got led to the pipe, brethren, for 10 years. Long time. He was out on road at some stages begging for money. He was out on road at some stages looking for money to make a phone call so he could get his next thing. He was barred from the West End because he was so badly behaved up there that he wasn't allowed up there no more. He had the West End on lock at one time, all them little young youths, properly teaching them how to hustle and getting paid in crack. Man used to come to my workplace, boy. Hear how you know addiction's getting bad, men and women, when people's fingernails start getting dirty. Can you believe that? Something so small, proper sign. If you've got a brethren or husband or anybody around you and their hygiene starts lapsing, because when you're taking drugs, you don't have time to keep yourself clean. That is the least of your problems. All you want is your next pipe, yeah? Or and we're not talking. And then when they say they're smoking, they're not smoking. It's piping. But because it's such a taboo subject, nobody wants to talk about it more. Anybody that takes crack is shame. You can't come out in public with your big pipe, yeah, or your crack spliff, because nobody's interested in that anymore. Everybody's moved up. If you're taking crack still, you're wrong. And there's nothing else for you to get out of it. That little first hit that you're looking for, it ain't coming back, bruv. Let me tell you that. It's not coming back. And the drugs are getting more shit out there these days as well, because everybody wants to make more money, so nothing's coming like how it used to come. So you lot are wasting your time. You've done already, mashed up your whole family, mashed up your whole self, mashed up your whole personality, mashed up your teeth. Half of you ain't got no teeth. The pipe licked them out. And you're still piping. You're still doing it. For what? There's nothing more to get out of it. Not one more thing to get out of it. You don't hear what I'm telling you? There's new drugs now. Legal highs. They're much cheaper, brethren. Anyway, we're not going to start telling people what drugs to take, because just say no. No. Yeah, the crack boy, my dad's on the crack. Yeah, he was embarrassing. So the fingernails was, because he's got really big hands, my dad, and he was a man that always say, darling, come and clean my fingernails. Darling, come and clean my fingernails. Not in replacement of crack pipe. I've been to gambling houses on many a night with my dad when he thinks he's hustling, and I've got his stones in my pocket. Hold them for me, darling. If I ask you for them, don't give them back, yeah? Oh, my God. Well, so am I supposed to, are we going to fight for you not to have them back? Just take them, man, because you want them. You're begging them for them every minute. You're not shotting them. I can't see no money coming back in my pocket. And when man start taking crack care, oh, they're the biggest man in the world. They're the this, they're the that. They've got all these ideas, blah, 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 blah. And the hit don't last long. It doesn't last long. Literally, it lasts minutes until you need another one. Little stones like this. Sometimes big stones like that. The first time I experienced crack was with a friend of mine. The same girl, actually, that I met my dad with. So sad, because we left school to go to work, and unfortunately she left school to become a drug addict, which she still is. If I could get her to come and give something back to the community, if I could get her off the pipe to come and give something back to the community, it would be to put her here with me to show you not to do it. Not to do it. I'm going to let you know. She's got no teeth. Her body is like, I don't know. She's got skin here for breasts, but they're not breasts. It's just skin. Obviously, she's injected in every single part of her body heroin. Remember, I told you she's come off that now. She doesn't do that anymore. She still smokes it, but she doesn't inject it anymore. But she can't come off the pipe, brethren. Anyway, yeah, that was my first experience with crack at her house, because her mum was addicted to it. And at the end, I'm going to tell you how it goes, and how it's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin. How it's got nothing to do with anything like that. It is to do with you as a person, your discipline levels, and how you are. And sometimes what you've got access to. Anyway, this particular girl, I smoked my first spliff with her. She gave me my first spliff. It was a spliff of ash. Oh, it was a terrible story. So they said to me, go to Twickenham to go and buy your school uniform, because I went to a school, you had to go and buy especially a school uniform, Gumley House, school for girls. I was 14, I'll never forget. So I think I was approaching 3rd year of school, and we're talking the 6 weeks holiday. They sent me to go and get the uniform. So when you're in the 3rd year of school, you're like 13, 14. So many things happened in between 14, 15 and 16 for me. I'm telling you, Dread. Anyway, they sent me to go and get the school uniform. So I've gone to get it, but on my way, I've got to pass my brethren's yard. And she is the G girl at the time. Yeah, she's got all the garms, like her yard's crisp. They've got a cleaner, blah, 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 rah, rah, rah. And I've got to pass her yard, so I thought, sod it, let me pop in. So I've popped in, the next one of my brethren's is there. I've introduced, because I went to a girls' school, I used to bring girls for all my brethren, like my guy friends. I used, oh my God, there's this guy at my school, you'd really like her, and just bring her. In the end, the whole of my school, Gumley, was in Chiswick. We just were running it. Yeah, so one of the girls was there. So they said to me that something about some spliff stuff, and I made out that I've smoked before. This is the just say no thing. This is the trying to be somebody that you're not thing. Yeah, rubbish. And I bun the zoot. They built a zoot for me, and on top of bunning the zoot, I'm drinking a glass of red wine as well, because these are the kind of establishments I'm in. They've got red wine in their yard. You get me? And I conked out. No, before I conked out, that's a lie. My mouth was dry. They tried to they had to hold me, the two of them, up the road to McDonald's to try and eat. I didn't want to eat. The mouth was dry. They tried to make me eat a burger. The burger tastes like cardboard. I never forget. Honestly, I remember to this day the exact feeling in my mouth of no moisture whatsoever. Good. They put me in the room. I went to sleep. That was my first spliff. She gave it to me. Like I said, where she is now and where I am now, two different places. Nothing to do with colour. Because let me tell you, she's white, she's middle class. I'm black, I'm not middle class. Yeah? We started on the same path. I used to admire her because she had the garms and she was a good-looking girl. Everybody wanted to go out of her, this, that, and the other. She was popular. Bruv, the trap. Fell into it, can't come out. 35 years later. Are you sure? And I know some of you were there. And I know some of you even started taking drugs and doing stuff when you were adults, thinking that you're big. Thinking that you could overcome the drugs and the addiction because you're grown now. Nah, bruv, the trap will always hold you. Yeah, so my dad on the crack now. So what happened was, like I said, I lived with him and my uncles for 10 years. But I had to come away from there because obviously money starts going missing, jewelry's missing, things are missing. Do you get me? So I moved out. Oh my God, where did I get propelled to? My mother. First time I've ever lived with her in my whole life. I'm 26. No, it's not going to work. 6 months I lasted. Out I was. By choice, I couldn't live there no more because it just wasn't going to work. We didn't know each other, and to be honest, I don't think we were prepared to get to know each other. Why should you have to get to know your mum? Anyway, it was weird, and I didn't last long, but it was a result of my dad taking crack. It was a whole 10 years, so it's a long time of, first of all, I heard it on the road. Because he's that kind of person, really popular, I heard on the road, and somebody was cussing me about it. Literally, they thought that it would be a really good idea to tell me about my crackhead dad. So I thought I'd investigate. This is how I actually found out that it was actually true. Because you know when people tell you stuff, they can just tell you what they want. Because my dad lives in a Chris yard. He's got bare dough, drives a Chris yard, this and that. I ain't seen no signs of this. It's all right. Anyway, I go to check him in his yard, his Chris yard. And in this Chris yard, we're talking 80s, early 90s. He's got shutters on the window. That's how much he thinks he's a gangster and he's got to protect himself. Anyway, the shutters are down. I'm sitting outside the yard because I know he's there. His car's there. I'm sitting outside. I go home. I come back the next day. I ring the bell. He can see me because he's got a big camera in the thing. And I ring. I sit outside. I go home. Day 2. Day 3 now. I go down there. I knock the thing. I sit down. Door opens, I get dragged in. Brethren, you see when I went inside? There's foil. There's bras. There's women. There's men. There's needles. There's pens. They used to get the biro pen, empty the biro pen to make the pipe these times, and they used to make it with a plastic bottle. And it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. You can get a glass bottle. You can get anything. Little tiny pipes. They're getting now they're getting little you know, when you go to the shop and you buy a little miniature bottle of brandy, yeah, they're drinking the brandy and they cut the top off of the bottle and that's their nice little pipe. I don't know, those little bottles make neat little pipes, bruv, I'm telling you. Yeah, so the house is wrecked. The yard's wrecked from top to foot. Man gave me a plastic bag, told me clean up. Okay, so now I know you're on it. So that's how we can now get to go to gambling houses, this and that. And in these gambling houses, you've got girls going, do you want some? I'm thinking, go on then, let's have a go. Rubbish. It's rubbish. What is it that you not see in it? There's nothing in it. It gives you a high, yeah. It makes your head go raw. It does some cold thing, and your mind feels like it's opening. How long are you going to have that feeling for? How long do you want to do that for? That same dead feeling. Anyway, that's that. So when he used to come to my workplace, my dad, because he used to come to my workplace asking for money at my workplace. Listen, you're getting run, brethren. I don't care, gangster or no gangster. Don't you dare come to my workplace asking for money when you take crack. Are you crazy? Move, man. So Kentucky was next door. Yeah, we can go Kentucky. I'll buy you some food. Fingernails are black, brethren. It's dread. Honestly, it's not looking good at all. And man smells. Get it? Then I had Cairo. So during the pregnancy of Cairo, during me having Cairo, during me dealing with Cairo's dad, man's still taking crack. Good. Cairo's dad used to try and give him money, me and him is in bare argument over it. And I don't care if my dad can hear. Do you know what I mean? Because I've already told you straight, don't ask me for money. And I haven't got any dependents then. Worse when I have. Are you crazy? Anyway, we're going through all this cycle of him taking crack and asking for money all the time. And my aunties and uncles ringing me, Marsh, yeah, your dad needs electric. We're out. Can you give him a tenner for electric? No. Because that electric money, he spent it on crack. You want me now to substitute that? Subsidize that? It ain't going to happen, brethren. And I meant it. I wasn't joking. So what used to happen is, all that little cycle, used to come round for food, dirty fingernails, stinking, bruv. I got the youths there. I never, ever, ever thought in my million years that my dad would ever be responsible for looking after my children, because I never, ever thought for a million years that he would come off crack. But miracles happen. We're going to get there. Anyway, so, yeah, we're going through the motions. I'm not giving him any money. I don't mind giving him a bit of food. I'm even grudging that at this stage, though, because even your food money, the money that you're supposed to be feeding yourself with, is going on that. But you're not supposed to grudge giving people food. That's how I've been brought up. So we do that grudgingly. And it was terrible until one day, Benjamin died. My brother, his first son. Dennis went to High Wycombe and came off crack. Came off it. Got himself on it. Got himself off it. 10 years of a flaming nightmare. But hear what? You see, if he can do it, so can you. It took that for that to happen, but it could have got worse because of that reason. Do you know what I mean? It would have been a good enough excuse because your first son is dead. Why don't you go and take more crack? His mind could have told him that. But he really did turn it around. He turned it around to the point where he just didn't smoke anymore, as they call it. And I got my dad back. And I got my dad back under the experiences that he had, and he was willing to share the amount of crack stories I've heard, brethren. Literally. Different stories of how different people take crack, and how they behave when they take it, and this and that. My dad had them all. I wish they had podcasting when my dad was alive, brethren. Views. This studio would be rammed with people. People be queuing up outside just to come and hear Natty speak. Trust me, because I think I've maybe acquired a gift. Maybe it's learned behaviour. But my man was a speaker. I went out yesterday, actually. I went to my bridging yard yesterday. And there was a lady there, and we were speaking about this and that, and then she asked me how many children I had. No, she asked me if I had any girl children, and I said, yeah, I've got 2. She goes, are they like you? And we had a proper conversation. There was another guy sitting there, and he said, you are so powerful. Your voice, what you're saying. He said, I could sit and listen to you all day. He said, some people won't get you, but I get you. I really appreciated that. I need to walk around with my little vlogging thing so that I can vlog these things and get them in there. Basically, because what it does, it just enhances what we do here. And when you're not there watching me, I'm exactly the same. I ain't changing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I carry me and my vibe everywhere I go. Yeah, so Natty and the crack boy, Natty got off the crack. So here, what I can do now, I can allow Natty to be a baby. I can allow Natty to look after the youths. Because before that, leave my dad with who? My brother is gay, yeah? And he had a boyfriend called Sam. And he was really good at being with the children. He was excellent with my children, this guy. All four of them, really, really good. Anyway, one day my dad came round and said, why have you got this batty man dealing with your youths? And I was like, what? You can't say things like that, Dad. What do you mean? They're my grandchildren. I don't know. Tell the youth he's got to go. So I'm saying to my brother, I said, Dad's like on one. Like, Sam's got to go. Anyway, it was really awkward situation. So my auntie said to me, would you rather leave Sam with your children than your dad? I was like, hell yes. Who's going to leave their children with an irresponsible crack addict? Who? Granddad or not granddad? Please. So Sam, yeah, definitely. Anyway, Dennis promoted himself to the point where I could ring him and say, will you babysit? His reply was always, it's a privilege, darling. Always a yes, 1000%. And I had the perfect babysitter. I don't have to worry now because Finale can speak. So I know that if anything's going on, she can say to Granddad, Granddad, you've left the fire on, or Granddad, da-da-da-da-da, brilliant. And then he died. Wouldn't that be my luck? My one permanent babysitter that was a privilege for him to babysit. Not on earth anymore. Anyway, that was that. But yeah, Dennis can get off addiction. You guys can. But when your parents are addicted to stuff, it's hard work. I think the only thing that you can do as a recipient of that, because you've got no choice, it's your parent, it's not like da-da-da-da-da, is just don't become addicted to anything yourself. Actually make sure you go as far away from that road as possible and guide anybody that you know to do the same, because you've had first-hand experience of it. And that is first-hand experience, apart from being addicted yourself, because you've got to deal with that person, and it's hard work, especially when you're a kid and you don't really get it. It makes you grow up fast, boy. That's what it does. So it could be an advantage. Use it to your advantage. I use it to my advantage. I can't stand pissheads. Anybody that drinks alcohol around me and starts acting foolish, listen, me and you are off straight away. What are you doing? Fix up, man. Can't stand it. If you're in your yard piping secretly, stop it. It's embarrassing. And you know it's embarrassing because you can't admit it. You can't come out. It's not like even weed's getting offensive these days because it stinks. Especially that skunk weed, it stinks. You can't even pretend that you haven't smoked. So we've got to know what we're doing because we're in the big world now, and obviously we're rolling around like we want to be accepted. All the things that I've mentioned are unacceptable. Even the drinking, because everybody drinks, I've realised these days. Like, loads of people drink. But you can't go to work the next day smelling of alcohol because it's not acceptable. Do you know what I mean? I think we covered it. We've covered addiction on levels. From my point of view, I've given as much the guidance that I feel I'm an expert to give. I've let you know where I stand with it. I find it boring. I don't see the fun in it, to be honest. And I think that if you want to have a better life and be true to yourself, you should not be addicted to anything. Everything should have a balance. Everything should be moderate. Because otherwise it's not fair on you. And it's not fair on the people around you. So, yeah, that's it. Boo. Take care. Listen, I haven't told you lot. Like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Yeah, hit the buttons. I don't know what buttons they are. Hit them. You guys are into this social media much more. Oh, when we talk about social media and we talk about hitting buttons and what about the addiction of the phone? I forgot to talk about that because that's like a new addiction now. The phones are addictive though, you do realise that. Literally, I'm associating a phone, young people, with crack. That level of addiction, because what I've noticed is, living with 4 children that don't have access to the devices like their peers do, they're addicted, fam, in the sense of they will sneak, lie, cheat, hide just to have a device. That's bad. Because obviously that's showing me already you have addictive nature. And that discipline isn't there where it needs to be. And it's starting with a device. Because that is the trap of the system. I'm blaming the system for all of that. I'm only blaming the system for implementing it because it's a choice of how you're going to get into it and how far you're going to take it and how you're going to let it affect your life. But literally 90% of you are addicted to a device in one way or another, like my dad was addicted to crack. And you can't lie and say, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. You're neglecting the kids because of your phone. You're always on your phone. You're giving the kid the phone so they can always be on their phone. No, no, no. The phone's a bad one. In fact, I could have a whole hour about the phone, but we're not going to because you don't get the point. And it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And like I say, it's designed to be as bad as it is. And it's a choice whether you fall into that trap or not. It's a choice of whether you want to be that fish that swims the other way to where all the other fish are going because there's bait there. Do you get me? So you guys continue to make... see, the thing about it is I don't want to just close it off because now it seems like it's not important. But you guys need to start making your own decisions. And obviously you guys know that I don't have all day here because we could be all day here talking about phone and the addictions of the phone. The best thing I could do for my children, we'll talk about Cairo with this phone. Cairo is the first person to get a phone. Hereby Cairo got a phone. His dad bought him a phone. Hereby his dad bought him a phone because he wants to talk to his son. Do you get a phone call from your son? Can you get your son on the phone these days? All you man there that have done that. Duh. So it gets to a stage where they won't even answer to you. And all you're doing is causing them a problem in the end. But it's good because at least, like I say, I can see the levels of addiction that my particular children are at when it comes to anything. Because, again, it's lack of discipline, it's weakness, there's all sorts of things going on with it. Because if you knew now what you knew then you wouldn't be doing it. That goes for all of us. Do you know what I mean? And the phone, oh my days. I think the phone's more popular than alcohol and cigarette, Jed, to be honest. Because everybody's got a phone. Everybody is allowed to have a phone. Whereas the drinking now is a bit more, it's less accessible when you're a kid, and so is the smoking. I'm not saying you can't get your hands on it, because I used to nick cigarettes out of my gran's drawer where she used to keep them. However, yeah, the phones are bad. The phone's the wickedest trap ever. So good luck to y'all with it all. I'm closing off because I was going to finish and you were lucky to get this last 5 minutes out of me. But yeah, like and subscribe. Share with your friends because I've realised, yeah, that's going to be massive. Share with your friends. Like and subscribe. Hit those buttons, guys. Thanks.